A conscious celebration of Christmas must not hide, buried in the syrup of deserts and tenderness, its darker aspects. Chesterton warned us, the bells that celebrate the birth of the child sound like cannon shots, because in fact, that night in Bethlehem, an endless war began that will only end when Christ returns. It is a war that had already been announced long before. I put eternal enmity between you and the woman, between your offspring and hers, but which was only declared unequivocally in that dizzying moment in which God reaffirmed his covenant with man, assuming the fragile and defenseless body of a boy. Children thus became the object of the ancient serpent's fierce hatred, who from then on did not cease to plot how to exterminate, desecrate, and degrade them in the most filthy and aberrant ways. Whenever a child is conceived, the foundations of Herod's palace shake. Every time a child is born, Herod loses a piece of his kingdom. Whenever a child is suckled at a mother's breast, Herod is condemned to exile. Since that distant night, the descendants of the ancient serpent have not stopped plotting crimes against children. Nefarious crimes that kill their bodies, but above all their souls. Thus, the offspring of the ancient serpent transformed the womb of women into an extermination camp, designed forms of propaganda and entertainment that degrade and weaken children's souls, gave vent to the most depraved instincts, so that they could find in the bodies of children a remedy for their concupiscence. And in this twilight of history, he is preparing to desecrate the souls of children, infusing them with the chimerical desire to change their bodies, to transform them into rags that will enrich pharmaceutical companies throughout their lives, stuffed with hormones and antidepressants. This total war of the old serpent against the new lives has never ceased since that distant night in Bethlehem. Of course, it is disguised with humanitarian alibis that make us gag, but it is enough to scratch his shell for it to shine, phosphorescent like a decomposing corpse. The same ancient and preternatural hatred that spread throughout Herod's palace on that distant night in Bethlehem. A night, in fact, on which a boy was born, just like as the Archangel Gabriel had announced, the baby Jesus could never be a girl, because in God's plans, the body tells us about God and reveals Him, and this child would make God visible, as He Himself will tell us when He grows up. He who has seen me has seen the Father, and the old serpent needs to eclipse this truth, needs to eclipse the way in which God chose to reveal Himself to man, reformatting the bodies of children to fill their fragile and defenseless lives with death and affliction.